Hey everybody, Felix Stoffelbaker here. I wanted to make a video on EOS having a bond and what we're really seeing in the global landscape of the new economy being rolled out is that there are Bitcoin bonds being issued by companies and there are Bitcoin bonds being issued by sovereign nations. And what that tells me is that it's capable to be able to issue a bond of a digital asset, and that is the underpinning of the new economy itself, apart from being able to adjust interest rates, which we really have no power to do. That's all the Fed, and given the current situation, they won't ever raise rates. In fact, they'll be going negative and you'll be charged if you hold any money in a bank account. They already do it in Europe. There's a bunch of places that are already into negative interest rates because if they raise the rates in any meaningful way, they will immediately default on their debt. And so something that I noticed that I don't think anybody else has noticed, or I definitely haven't heard anybody else say, is that we've got Google Cloud as a block producer candidate, and they're well into accepting votes. They've been moving up the ranks. They've been accumulating votes, and they've also been archiving the entire EOS blockchain. And what caught my attention was that they said in the release that they mentioned that they won't be taking any rewards, as a company for revenue type of situation. And they definitely haven't said anything about what they're going to do with those tokens. And granted, this all is dependent on them getting into the top 21 and actually being a block producer, producing the blocks themselves for the EOS blockchain. But what I see the capability of them doing is any of those rewards that they earn for making blocks on the EOS blockchain, the mainnet, they could put into an account, into a fund, and they could literally use that to issue EOS bonds. And they could have basically a coupon for the EOS token, whatever percent they decide to put on it, and a couple percent, they could even base it off of REX percentages. They could put all those rewards from their account into the REX, and all the dividends that the REX earns could go back, to the bond holders that bought the bonds issued by Google based off of those tokens. Or you could have, Google issue them and base it off of future appreciation of the token price, which would be dependent on a myriad of factors. I don't know exactly how that starts to get into other economic and potentially SEC, CFTC type regulations, but if they were like issuing bonds now or as soon as they got into the top 21, at that price, and you could lock it in, say under $10, and say it went to $100, they could give you dividends based off of that price increase or something like that. But the main thing is, I don't hear anybody else talking about an EOS bond. I don't hear anybody else talking about how that could actually manifest, how that could actually be issued, who could actually do that potentially. This is just throwing a wild thought out there, but I mean, you could even, it doesn't have to be Google. I just thought that would be the most ideal because they're a trusted company in the institutional landscape, and they could immediately get investors that would jump to something like that. And you know, I see a real opportunity. You could even have a private company, or you know, just a whale, somebody who has a ton of EOS could just issue a bond and, you know, do that type of thing. You know, Barry Silbert from Grayscale could issue an EOS bond. There's nothing stopping them from trying to do something like that, especially with interest rates so low from the Fed. You know, you could get somebody like that could get sub 3%, you know, even lower type of interest rates on a loan to be able to even start this process. So I mean, EOS, even though the price itself hasn't gone up as much as we want in the long term, like intraday and intra-week, like 3, 4, 5% is nothing. So that's just the volatility, you know, the traders involved and all the people moving the markets. That's nothing. So, you know, this is something to think about. We're not just focused on, you know, what needs to be built, but like we're looking past that and seeing this already as an investment that will be globally operating. You know, I see EOS is taking over every database, so you have to extrapolate out from that type of thing, and that's how you come to this type of conclusion. People are going to say, oh, this is nuts, this is crazy, this is the furthest thing out from what's going on right now. But you know, you got to understand, I'm already seeing EOS as past where it's at and just basically being held up in the market. I wouldn't say on purpose, but just for whatever reason, the market timing isn't there. I see all this coming to fruition, you know, however long that takes. I'm willing to stick it out, but I know that this is the type of thing that you start to look for when, you know, especially the type of players that are involved, the Thiels, the Louis Bacons, you know, those type of people, Novogratz, those levels. I mean, this stuff is on a path that, if successful, will give us all windfalls beyond our wildest dreams. So I just want to put that out there. And, you know, think about EOS bonds and think about things that, instruments that the current economy has that could integrate into something like a blockchain. So I just want to put that out there. Stoffel Baker out.